Side number 1, Paisley Hoffman, 5'4" and a sophomore. In the middle, number 4, Maya Lewis, 5'8" and a junior. On the outside, number 5, Macy Harrington, 5'6" and a junior. In the middle, number 7, Audrey Kuchera, 5'11" and a freshman. And on the outside, number 13, Ireland Buell, 5'7" and a sophomore. In that match against Boyd County, we saw just those 7 for Coach Kalkowski and the Knights. So look at your starting lineups brought to you by Three River. We're ready to go. The teams are going to shake hands at the center of the net. They forego the starting lineups as we're ready for match 3. And it will be the Knights going from left to right, from south to north, as we call it here, from the top shelf of Rock County Public Schools. They're in their two-tone black and blue uniforms with black trunks and the white numbers and letters with blue highlights. The Cardinals in their black uniforms with the white and red highlighted numbers and letters, the red and white stripe, and the black trunks. St. Mary's 8-2 on the year. North Central at 7-6. Both teams utilizing some freshmen. As for the Knights, it's middle Audrey Kuchera and libero Miley Hoffman. For the Cardinals, it's 2 outside hitters in Delaney Drucke and Tatum Ickes. So we'll see. I think we're ready to go. They've checked the rotations. It will be the Knights with the first serve, and Sydney Hoffman will retreat to the line. Glad to have you with us here on KBRB. Both these teams with 2-set sweeps over Boyd County. We'll see who is undefeated on the triangular. Best 2 of 3 sets to 25 rally scoring in this triangular format. It'll be a free pass across to North Central after the first serve. Here's a swing for Maya Lewis. That one dug by Drucke. Swing for Williamson. Finds the back corner. Cuts it to the left from the middle. And Gracie Williamson grabs a kill to open the match. So Addison Peterson, the junior setter, with the first serve for the Cardinals. Sends a bullet across to Harrington. It's over the net, but put right back to the North Central side on a mistake. Here's a swing down the line for Maya Lewis, just wide as she cut it to the left. And a quick little misfire gives St. Mary's a 2-0 start. Had 2 sweeps thus far. Addison Peterson, another tough set, eats up Hoffman. Swing from the back row by Harrington is dug by Lizzie, chased down, and will lead to a free pass. Good out-of-system swing for Harrington. They push it left. Here's Paisley Hoffman, tips it away from the double block, covered by Peterson. Back to Williamson, sets one deep and long. Miley Hoffman lets it go. Error on the Cardinals, and the Knights get on the board for the first time here in the match. 2-1 St. Mary's as Paisley Hoffman to the line. So you have Paisley, the outside hitter, Sydney, the setter, and Miley, the freshman libero. Served by Paisley, picked up by Ickes. Swing for Williamson, cuts it right and in on the line. Williamson, 2 quick kills, and a 3-1 start for St. Mary's. Lizzie rotates out for 1 rotation as Samantha Ash to the service line. Ash's serve into the middle, played by Miley Hoffman. Out of system. It'll be a free pass back to the Cardinals. Peterson goes middle for Ott. Rips that one long. No touch. Hitting error on St. Mary's. We've had a lot of hitting errors with all of these teams this evening, but they're all swinging hard at it. Sometimes just don't get quite enough topspin or enough height on their jump to get the angle. 3-2 St. Mary's. Maya Lewis starts standing sideways, now runs up on a jump serve and launches it deep. First service error of the match, and it's 4-2 St. Mary's. Now Maya Lewis out, as after 1 rotation out, Hoffman right back in. And Gracie Williamson responds with a service error long. 4-3 St. Mary's. North Central's been sitting for about an hour between matches. Serve handled by Lizzie. Left side swing, Ickes. Cross court, dug by Paisley Hoffman. Sydney sets it up for Harrington. St. Mary's controls. Left side, Ickes. Blocked back by Kuchera. Covered by Peterson across the net. Knights go right back to Audrey. Has it blocked back by Ott. Knights get it across. Good coverage. Right side swing. Druki is long. No touch at the net. So the Knights get the point. We're tied at 4. Good rally there. Knights get the win. They set up the double block on Kuchera, but a great cover by North Central. Ireland Buell serves it deep middle to Williamson. They set it up left side for Tatum Ickes through the block and down. The freshman has her first kill. 5-4 St. Mary's. Best 2 of 3 sets to 25 rally scoring. Have to win by 2. Serve, a tough one for Druki. Kept alive by the Knights on a couple of caroms, and Miley Hoffman will get it across. Center dump try by Addison Peterson, covered by Miley. In the middle, here's Kuchera, touched on the block, dug by Williamson. Bump set it for Ickes, who sets one down the line. Miley Hoffman gets to it. Knights keep it alive. Get it across. St. Mary's in system, goes back to Ickes. Off the block of Kuchera and down. Freshman versus freshman there, and Tatum Ickes wins it with the kill. 6-4. St. Mary's here in the first. Cardinals 8-2. Knights 7-6 in the NVC. Serve handled by Miley Hoffman. They push it left to Harrington. Swings one into the middle, dug by Williamson. Left side, Ickes again. Down the line and good in front of a diving Miley Hoffman. Tatum Ickes, 3 early kills, 7-4. St. Mary's with a 3-point advantage over the Knights. Run continues for Druki. Sends a tough one into the middle, overpassed. But Ickes can't put it away as saved by Sydney Hoffman. Back to the St. Mary's side. Ickes again off the tape. Dug by Harrington. They'll bump set it for Macy. She takes a cross-court swing. Pulled up by Ickes. Right back to Tatum. She goes cross-court. One-handed bring up by Paisley Hoffman on a great play. But Harrington backing up, hits the net on the swing and then takes a tumble. Macy pops right back up. She's okay, but the hitting error gives a point to the Cardinals at 8-4. Great save by Paisley Hoffman. Serve handled by Buell. Catches the tape to the St. Mary's side. Cardinals set one across. Peterson. Knights have it. They go back to Harrington again. Touched on the block and down. Macy gets the first kill of the match for North Central. The Knights trail 8-5. A 5-1 advantage in kills for St. Mary's early. They lead by 3. Harrington serves one deep, played by Lizzie. Left side, here's Ickes again, down the line. Kept alive by the Knights twice, but nobody could reach third contact. Miley Hoffman with basically a pancake, and then Paisley, just a reflex, got her hand underneath it, but shot it into the net. That's the 4th kill for Tatum Ickes. 9-5 St. Mary's as Bethany Lizzie to the service line for the Cardinals. Sends one middle to Buell. Sydney with a bump set, and it'll just be a free pass across. Williamson gets to it. Left side swing for Ash into the middle, and kept alive by the Knights. Great play by Harrington on a pancake. Swing for Ickes, cuts it left and good, and St. Mary's just keeps coming. What a pancake by Harrington to keep that point alive, but it ends in a Tatum Ickes kill. She has 5 early. 10-5 St. Mary's doubling up North Central here in set 1. Lizzie swing middle, played by Buell. They'll set it up for Paisley Hoffman. That one dug by Williamson on a good play. Set over by Ickes. Knights control. Here's Kuchera in the middle. Blocked back by Tatum Ickes and Ash. Swing for Paisley Hoffman is long. Boy, the Cardinals really setting up the double block on Kuchera in the middle after the Knights combined for a bundle of kills from the middle blocker spots. They combined for 21 kills, did Kuchera and Maya Lewis. There's an ace serve for Lizzie, and it looks like Coach Skylar Kalkowski may need a timeout. She'll take one as St. Mary's on a run has opened up a 12-5 lead here in set number 1 of match number 3 from Rock County High School on KBRB.
Whether to or from the ball game, call timeout at Scott's Place in Bassett for a tank of Conoco regular, super, or diesel fuel, bases, loaded pizza, deli sandwiches, your favorite pop or beer. Scott's Place Conoco at the junction of Highway 20 and 183 has Nebraska Lottery and Powerball, too.
Join those who have not only found relief from pain, but a pathway to wellness with Finish Line Chiropractic. They're proud to offer software tissue regeneration at the O'Neill office and in Bassett at the Rock County Hospital on Tuesdays. For appointments, go to finishlinehealth.com.
Well, the Stewart Broncos on FM 92 and KBRB.net rally for a 25-23 victory in set 2 over Fullerton to avoid the sweep after being swept in 2 sets by CWC in match 1, 25-21, 25-13. So Stewart and Fullerton headed to a 3rd set in match 2 from Bartlett. Off the North Central timeout, St. Mary's a 12-5 lead. Tough serve from Lizzie as the Knights out of system. They will get a nice little swing out of system by Kuchera, but putting it back, and then Kuchera fires away for the kill. Ickes on second contact popped one back. The Knights were there and pounced on it, and Kuchera gets the big rip and the kill. The freshman, a little boost of momentum for the Knights off the timeout as she rotates out. Hoffman, the libero, set deep and out. Just missing is Peterson. Dumped it into the back corner, but just missed it wide. The Knights had vacated that back right corner of the defense. 2 straight off the timeout. Knights within 5. Serve played by Peterson. By Williamson. Ickes with the swing. Knights cover. Paisley Hoffman sets one over. Here is Ickes on the slide, but sends it into the net. 3 straight points by the Knights off the Skylar Kalkowski timeout. From 12-5, it's now 12-8. Miley Hoffman with the run at the service line. Knights do not yet have a service ace. Serve handled by Drucke. They back set it for Ickes. Touched on the block, dug by Buell. They go middle for Maya Lewis, who tools the block of Ickes and gets the kill. Maya with her first kill. Knights on a 4-point run. 12-9. The Cardinal lead once 7 is now 3. Another good serve, Miley Hoffman. And the Knight fans wanted a lift call on Ickes. They'll go to a tight set to the net, and Maya Lewis can't reach it. Boy, the Knight fans really wanted a lift call against St. Mary's. 13-9. St. Mary's ends the 4-point North Central run. Tatum Ickes to the service line, rather. Sends one across to Buell. Out of system. They'll get a swing for Maya Lewis. Roll shot dug by Lizzie. Peterson sets it up for Williamson. On the tip is good off a carom. Gracie Williamson saw she had a double block set up against her, so she tipped it over the blockers, and it went off a Knight and down. 14-9, 3rd kill for Williamson. Ickes, a bullet serve, played by Harrington, would have been close whether it was in or out. Roll shot for Maya Lewis, finds the floor off the block. The block redirected it, and that kept the back row player from being able to get a clean dig. Maya with her 2nd kill. 14-10. Knights were down 7. They're back within 4. Sydney Hoffman, tough serve, played nicely by Ickes. Right back to Williamson. There's the fastball from Gracie as she rips that one home in the middle. 15-10 Cardinals. 8-2 on the year. They've won 8 straight after losing their first 2 in a triangular to start the season. The serve from Peterson is into the net. 2nd service error on the Cardinals. Homecoming week here at Rock County High School for the North Central Knights as it's construction day, it looks like, in the student section. Serve handled by Williamson. They go back to Gracie. Rips this one. Touched on the block by Maya Lewis. Paisley Hoffman gets it across the net. Right back to Williamson again. Tips it over the block. Knights cover. Here's Maya with the swing. She gets it past 2 blockers and down. 3rd kill, Maya Lewis. 15-12. The Knights within 3. Paisley Hoffman to serve. Miley, the freshman libero. Paisley, the sophomore outside hitter. Sydney, the junior setter. And this has St. Mary's out of system. Knights will control. Swing for Buell. Cross court. Dug on a nice play by Peterson. Williams will set one deep. Drives back Paisley Hoffman. Knights out of system. Miley Hoffman gets it across. St. Mary's controls. Here's Gracie. Blocked back by Maya Lewis. Joust ripped down by Maya. Junior versus senior. They've both started their entire high school careers, and that time Maya gets the best of Gracie. 4th kill for Maya Lewis. That's got the student section celebrating. 15-13. Knights within 2 after trailing by 7 at one point. Left side, Drucke tight to the net, never gets it across. And point North Central, the block did not touch it. Drucke caught the tape, trying to poke it away from the double block. She was trapped. Knights within one, 15-14. They trailed 12-5. Good serve again for Paisley Hoffman. Gracie Williamson off the block, dug by Paisley, ricochets twice, and Macy Harrington gets it across. Williamson again, dug by Miley Hoffman. Swing for Harrington as she hits the chair. This time a tip try by Williamson is covered. Maya Lewis blocked back by Williamson, covered by the Knights. Free pass across, great rally at 15-14. Williamson off the block and down, just keeps swinging. Great point, excellent volleyball here in the Niobrara Valley Conference on that point. But the swing from Williamson gets her 5th kill and a 2-point St. Mary's lead as the Knights had tried to tie it. Samantha Ash, bullet serve up into the light by Hoffman. It'll be a free pass across that is just out. St. Mary's let it go at the last second. It was too close for comfort, but out is the call. Error on the Knights, 17-14. Cardinals 2 straight. This serve long from Ash. 3rd service error by St. Mary's. Knights within 2. Good crowd here at home at North Central's part-time home at Rock County. Maya Lewis runs under a jump serve. It's a beauty. Played across the net by Lizzie on a dive, but right back to St. Mary's on a mistake by Harrington, and Drucke puts it away. Boy, an overpass serve receive, but Harrington just trying to set it up to the setter, got a little too much on it. Went across, and Drucke put it away. 18-15, Knights out of system. Harrington with the swing. Cross court, dug by Lizzie. Left side, Ickes is blocked back by Kuchera, but just out of bounds. Ickes tools the block. Kuchera got both hands on it, sent it backwards, but just out of bounds on the near side. Cardinals now by 4 on a 3-point run. Here's Kuchera in the middle, pokes it away from the double block. Peterson is there. Here is Ott in the middle, off of Sydney Hoffman and down. Anna Ott's first kill, and that forces the second timeout from Coach Skylar Kalkowski of the Knights as St. Mary's on a 4-point run to take the 20-15 lead here in set number 1, match number 3 on KBRB.
For whatever field you work in, agricultural, industrial, municipal, Terps Automotive of Bassett has you covered with parts built to stand up to the most demanding jobs. Get up and go with Terps Automotive, your Napa store in Bassett. Shop more, pay less at G&B's Market. They always help you stay ahead of your budget by offering the finest quality and great value. Make sure to check out this week's sales flyer for the best service, selection, and savings. Shop locally owned G&B's Market in Bassett.
Well, here it is, St. Mary's with a 20-15 lead over North Central. Here in set number 1, Knights got it within a point at 16-15, but St. Mary's 4 straight. Gracie Williamson with the serve off the timeout, played by Miley Hoffman. They'll set it up for Kuchera. Diving attempt by Williamson is saved by Peterson. Ott blocked back, but out. Boy, that's the second one Kuchera has got both hands on, but she's just not been able to keep those last 2 in. So Ott will pick up the kill, and St. Mary's now by 6. Another bullet serve by Williamson off the hands of Miley Hoffman and up to us. Here in the top row, ace serve, Gracie Williamson, and St. Mary's now back up by 7, matching their largest lead of the set, which came at 12-5. Williamson bullet serve played by Paisley Hoffman after it tickles the net. Knights, can they get it across in 3? No. Harrington with a tough angle, trying to get it across. It just catches the tape cross court and comes back to the North Central side, 23-15. Cardinals now on a 7-point run. Serve down the line, just missing wide for Williamson. Good play by Buell to let it go at the last moment. 23-16. North Central will have to have a run to avoid going down set point. Buell with the serve. Floater across to Lizzie. Overplayed. Nobody can get to it. That is an ace serve No, they're going to call it over the center plane by Kuchera. That one was going to fall for an ace. Kuchera went up, thought it might be an overpass serve, but she reached too far across. Error on the night, set point Cardinals, but the swing from Drucke at the service line is into the net. Knights save set point number one, but 24-17. Here comes set point number two. Harrington serve deep, backs up Lizzie. Nobody reaches contact two. There's an ace for Macy Harrington. First ace of the set. It's been good serve receive for St. Mary's. Knights save set point number two, 24-18. Another float serve, this handled by Drucke. They go left side to Ickes, down the line, and good. Tatum Ickes' seventh kill gives St. Mary's the opening set, 25-18 on the Tri-County Bank scoreboard. We're back with set number two from Rock County High School in this Niobrara Valley Conference Triangular on KBRB.
A profitable livestock operation depends on the health quality of your herd. Chippewa Vet Service, Dr. Angie Painter, Springview, specializes in reproduction ultrasound of cattle and horses. For health care of large and small animals, contact Dr. Angie Painter of Chippewa Vet Service, Springview, 402-497-3574.
For proven, dependable, efficient, and long-lasting diesel power units, visit the friendly folks at Northern Plains Supply. They're your Isuzu dealer in this area. That's Northern Plains Supply of Bassett. Your first choice for exceptional care is Rangeland Rehab locations in Ainsworth and Bassett. Physical therapist Brian Doak, along with professional staff, are trained in many techniques to help improve mobility and decrease pain. For appointments, call Rangeland Rehab at 387-1600.
Blending nature, tradition, and community. Granddad's Pumpkin Patch, just outside of Bassett, is open every fall with a delightful mix of activities and exciting attractions, sure to create lifelong memories for all ages. Our building is available to rent year-round. Check out our Facebook page to learn more.
Go Knights!
Tradition runs deep at the fifth-generation Smith Angus Ranch. Kent and Cameron are dedicated to providing top-quality genetics to maximize their customers' profitability. Annual bull sale at the ranch south of Bassett the fourth Friday of March. Check out their website at smithangus.com.
Well, tie one in the third set from Bartlett. Neutral site match. Fullerton edging Stewart 22-20 as they play late in the third set. They're tied at a set apiece. Here we head to the second set. St. Mary's winning the first, 25-18. Knights had rallied, got it within one at 16-15, but a 9-3 run for St. Mary's to close out the set. They start with Addison Peterson. First serve handled by Harrington, but it's an overpass, and Gracie Williamson puts it away off the tape. That was a tough serve from Peterson. Harrington played it well, but just a little too much. Got over the net, and Williamson put it down for her sixth kill. The serve handled by Miley Hoffman, chasing it into the scoring table is Sydney Hoffman, and Paisley keeps it alive. Set deep by Williamson, chased down by Miley. In the middle here is a cross-court attack for Maya Lewis, brought up by Lizzie, played off of Karam in the rafters, and St. Mary's gets a free pass across. Paisley Hoffman off the block and down. Paisley's first kill, and the Knights a hard-earned point to tie it. One apiece here in the second. North Central will try to force our first third set here tonight. St. Mary's will try to close out a third sweep of the evening. Sydney Hoffman as the gym falls silent. Good serve handled nicely by Williamson. Right back to Gracie. Rips it home in the middle. Wow. When they are in system and Gracie Williamson can high point the volleyball, she's been the most impressive attacker tonight. Williamson's seventh kill, matching freshman Tatum Ickles. 2-1 Cardinals. The serve from Ash, deep, played by Harrington, but Hoffman can't reach it. A serve for Samantha Ash. 3 aces, 5 errors for St. Mary's. North Central, 1 ace, just 1 service error. 3-1 Ash serve into the net. Had 5 service errors in set 1. That's the first of set 2 for the Cardinals. 3-2 St. Mary's with Paisley Hoffman to the service line. Checks with Coach Kalkowski for the zone. Sends it down the line, played by Ickes. They set it up left side for Ott down the line. Nice dig by Miley Hoffman. Set across by Paisley. Peterson pushes it left. Roll shot by Williamson is dug by Harrington. They go back to Macy. Cross-court attack. Nice dig, Lizzie. Here's Williamson left side over the double block. Brought up by Harrington into the rafters. And a swing for Harrington. Blocked back by Ott. Williamson takes a big rip. Dug by Paisley Hoffman. And then off the double block and down for Maya Lewis. Great rally. And the Knights get the point. Some big digs by both teams. Fifth kill for Maya Lewis, and we are tied at 3. Here in the second, Paisley Hoffman down the line, played by Ickes. They'll go back to Williamson, this time in the middle. Touched on the block, dug by Paisley Hoffman. Harrington, block back. No, they'll say into the tape. Knights say that was definitely a block. Official doesn't agree. 4 contacts. St. Mary's regains the lead at 4-3. Williamson serve, middle played by Miley Hoffman. Bump set it, swing by Harrington, into the donut and down. Past a diving Gracie Williamson. Second kill for Harrington. Deadlocked at 4. St. Mary's took the first 25-18. Both teams with 2 set sweeps over Boyd County. Bullet serve long for Maya Lewis. Lewis out, Miley Hoffman back in after 1 rotation to the bench in that green libero jersey. Freshman Druki with the serve, a bullet into the middle to fellow freshman Miley Hoffman, and nobody can reach contact 2 as Sydney Hoffman a long ways away from that one, and it went right up to the net. Not a bad serve receive for Miley Hoffman. Nobody played second contact, and that's an ace for Delaney Druki. Sends another one at the freshman libero. Handles it well again this time. Buell sets it up. Cross-court attack. Harrington dug by Lizzie. Setter dump try off the block and down for Peterson. Kuchera recognized it, but Peterson was able to get it off the right arm of Audrey and to the floor. Peterson with her first kill. 7-4 St. Mary's, building an early lead here in set 2. The serve into the tape for Druki. 7th service error for St. Mary's. Cardinals have won 8 straight matches. Knights back over the 500 mark at 7-6. Buell side spinning serve handled by Druki. They'll back set it for Ott. Touched on the block. Miley Hoffman with the dig. Tip try by Kuchera. There are the Cardinals. Second contact swing. Ott dug. Kuchera with a rip. Druki gets it, but the second contact play from Peterson as she tries to send the setter dump catches the net. Error on the Cardinals. Knights with 2 straight, back within 1 at 7-6. Another tough serve. This one off the antenna on the dig attempt by Lizzie, and it's an ace for Ireland Buell. Buell's putting some funky side spin on those serves, and that left-handed side spin causing St. Mary's some trouble. 3-point run tied at 7. The serve played by Williamson. Left side here, Zickis. Touched on the block, dug by Paisley Hoffman. Left side, Harrington. Block back, covered by, boy, that's another one. I thought it hit the block. And the chair official says no into the tape. Those are bang-bang plays. There's 2 blockers there. You have to kind of judge by the sound sometimes. There are no green card replays, so what the officials say goes as Lizzie sails a serve. 8 service errors on St. Mary's. We are deadlocked at 8 here in the second set. Hit the bottom half of the 7 o'clock hour into hour number 3 of our broadcast tonight. Match number 3. Fullerton picks up the win over Stewart, 25-21. Knights big rip from Paisley Hoffman, but dug beautifully by Lizzie. Left side back to Hoffman. This one long. What a great dig by Bethany Lizzie to keep that big swing off the floor from Paisley Hoffman. So Stewart heads home from Bartlett with losses to CWC in 2 and to Fullerton in 3. 9-8 St. Mary's in the second here, trying to get a sweep. Joust at the net, won by Sydney Hoffman. Chased down by Lizzie again as she hits the deck. And the free pass catches the tape and falls to the north central floor. by Addison Peterson, but credit Bethany Lizzie laying out for that dig near the sideline. What a play for the junior libero in red. Serve handled by Harrington as she gets backed up. Paisley Hoffman, the free pass. Drucke wanted to let it go, and it hit her in the head. And that's all smiles for Delaney Drucke. Little probably embarrassed by that one, but it'll be a kill for Paisley Hoffman. She was chasing that free pass, wanting to watch it go out of bounds, and it hit her in the head as she ran backwards. Overpass serve. The swing by Maya Lewis is blocked back by Peterson. Joust at the net. Again, this time won by Maya Lewis, kept alive by St. Mary's. Knights go right back to Maya through the block, and a lift call. That'll be a kill for Maya Lewis. Great net play between the Cardinals and North Central. Maya Lewis would not be denied. We are tied at 10. Set number 2. St. Mary's took the first, 25-18. Miley Hoffman, tough serve cross court. Played nicely by Ickes. Big swing from Williamson between two defenders. 8 kills, Gracie Williamson. 11-10, St. Mary's in a tight second set here on KVRB. More high school volleyball Thursday. Ainsworth and Burwell as there's an ace serve for the Cardinals. Addison Peterson with her first ace. That's 5 aces, 8 errors for St. Mary's. 12-10 Cardinals with a 2-point lead, and just like that, service error from Peterson. We'll have Ainsworth Burwell Thursday here on AM 14 FM 106.3. And we'll go to Thedford for Stewart taking on Sandhills, Thedford, and Valentine in a triangular. 12-11 Cardinals serve into the net by Sydney Hoffman. Just the 3rd service error on the Knights, but they have just 2 aces. St. Mary's 13-11. Both teams have just played 7 here tonight in this triangular. Serve long, St. Mary's. That from Samantha Ash. That is 5 service errors in each set. And just as we say that, into the match for North Central will come Harley Fowler for the first time. 5'4" junior. She'll replace Macy Harrington. Jump serve Paisley Hoffman, handled by Williamson. Peterson sets it up for Gracie. 1-on-1. Wins it over Maya Lewis, who got a touch on it, but nobody could make the dig. And that is kill number 9 for Gracie Williamson. She goes to the back row now to serve. 14-12 St. Mary's. Serve middle, handled by Miley Hoffman. Sydney will set it up middle for Maya Lewis. Ripped. Gracie Williamson with the dig. Chased down by Peterson and across in 3. Here come the Knights again. Right back to Maya. This one cuts left and down. Maya Lewis, kill number 7. Nobody else for North Central with more than 2. Maya 7 kills, and the Knights within 1 here in the second. 14-13 on the Tri-County Bank scoreboard. Tough serve, Maya handled beautifully by Lizzie. Left side, Ickes touched on the block, dug by Fowler, but nobody can chase it down and save it. That's a kill for Ickes, her 8th. Ickes and Williamson have combined for 17 of St. Mary's 22 kills. A 22-12 advantage in kills in favor of the Cardinals. But just a 2-point second set lead, as that is going to be an over-the-net call against Anna Ott on the serve receive that was close to the net. Ott reached across that center line and put it to the floor. Point Knights. Buell sails one deep on a serve. Cardinals with a 2-point lead in the mid stages of set 2. Took the first 25-18. Knights were within 16-15 in the first. Now 16-14. Cardinals with the lead. Lizzie serve is long. Boy, now both teams struggling to get serves in. That's 6 service errors for St. Mary's of North Central's 15 points here in the second. Now it's Harley Fowler serving. She sends one, drives back. Drucke. Peterson sets it across. Played by Fowler, might have been out of bounds. Paisley Hoffman rises up, touched on the block, dug by Ash, put over in 2 by Williamson out of system. North Central in the middle. Here's Kachero with a big rip and down. Audrey's been fairly quiet in this match, but she rips that one home. The 5'11 freshman, she had a big match against Boyd County with a dozen kills. She gets just her second there, but it's a big one to tie it up at 16 apiece. And Fowler sails a serve that catches a young fan. Head on a swivel always if you're down courtside in volleyball. 5th service error by the Knights, 17-16 St. Mary's. Ickes with the serve. Played across the net by Harrington and put away by Williamson. Great serve by Ickes. It leads to the 10th kill for Gracie Williamson. 18-16, Cardinals by 2. Ickes, another flat-footed serve, ripped in between the seam, right between Harrington and Buell. Ace serve for Ickes. That is Tatum's first. Thought maybe Coach Kalkowski would call the timeout. Instead, she's going to send in a sub as Jaden Norton, a freshman, will come into the match, replacing Buell. Trying to slow down the St. Mary's momentum without having to burn the timeout. If they get another point, you can bet Coach Kalkowski will probably use the timeout. 19-16. Ickes, a bullet serve, played up into the rafters by Miley Hoffman, chased down by the newly entered Norton. St. Mary's has it. Big rip, Williamson, dug by Harrington, but out into the stands. 11 kills, Gracie Williamson. St. Mary's now leads 20-16. Ickes continues the run. Another tough serve handled by Harrington, but over the net. Joust, saved by Sydney Hoffman. Paisley takes a swing. Doug, here's a little roll shot by Gracie Williamson. Finds a home. 12 kills, Gracie Williamson. 21-16. Harley Fowler will come back in for Harrington. Both teams with their full complement of timeouts, but 21-16. St. Mary's by 5, trying to sweep. Ickes, another bullet serve, handled nicely by Norton. Swing for Kachera, pulled up by Nicholas, or by Ickes, rattles around in the rafters, and St. Mary's will save it. Knights set her dump try, a beauty for Sydney Hoffman for the kill, behind her head, and dumps that one, her first kill, and it ends the run. And now Maya Lewis back into the front row for the Knights. Freshman Miley Hoffman to serve. St. Mary's 21-17 and will happily trade side outs at this stage. Good serve. Tight to the net. Free pass across, and Miley Hoffman let it go deep by Williamson, and it lands in. Gracie's 13th kill, just setting one deep. Miley at the last moment let it go instead of playing it, and it was in. 22-17. Serve from Peterson, backs up Miley Hoffman. They'll set it up left side for Maya Lewis. Touched on the double block and saved by the Cardinals. Pushed over by Williamson. This time Miley plays it. Right back to Maya again. A dig by Ickes. Rattles up into the rafters, and St. Mary's can't save it. Maya Lewis will get kill number 8. 22-18. Cardinals by 4. Knights will have to rally late if they're going to force a third set. Lost the first 25-18. Sydney Hoffman sends it just wide. St. Mary's 2 away from the match. 23-18, and they will bring in a couple of subs. As coming in to serve for the first time is Cherish Williamson, a 5'7 freshman. Cherish is going to run under a jump serve and hit the tape. So she'll come right back out for Samantha Ashwell, and then it will be Lizzie back in. So they brought Cherish Williamson in as a serving specialist for the first time. 23-19, St. Mary's by 4. Knights will have to get on a run here or they'll go down match point. Paisley Hoffman runs under a jump serve, catches the tape, kept alive. Great play by Peterson. Set deep in 2 by Williamson. Knights have it. Big swing for Fowler. Block back covered by Sydney Hoffman. Maya Lewis tries to tip it over now. Gracie Williamson off the double block and down. 14 kills, Gracie Williamson, and it is match point St. Mary's 24-19. Gracie Williamson with the serve into the net. 13th service error, 8th of this second set. 8 of North Central's 20 points have come on St. Mary's service errors. Kachera back into the front row. Here comes match point number 2, 24-20. Maya gets the serve in. Williamson handles it. They go left side for Ickes. Cross court off of Paisley Hoffman and out of bounds. Kill for Tatum Ickes, and St. Mary's takes the match 25-18.